Okay, so this is the Go-Kart Club Victoria's restricted masters class on the 27th of June to 2021, and I'm lining up here in 7th position, and this is the start of the race where they have to roll over to the start finish straight, and then there'll be an orange light, and when the orange light goes out we have to go for it. Okay, so we're coming down the hill here, and you can see the light's gone out and someone was a bit slow in front of me, so I had to back off. And then further up, he spins, managed to avoid the carnage and get through the first turn. So now from 7th, I'm up into 5th position at the moment. Okay, and this is the final race, and this is the side camera shot. You can see me here in 5th position in the white helmet, just going through there. And then we cut back into the onboard. Okay, so this guy was just ahead of me in the on the grid. I think he lined up in 6th position, but I think I've got a little bit of speed on him, so I'll have to see if we can actually pass him here. So coming through this top corner at the top, you can see me there with the white helmet coming down the straight. Not much I can do there, it's pretty tough, but I'm gaining on him a little bit coming through this turn on the second lap. And yeah, this corner here I felt like I was gaining on him as well, just trying to keep it really tight. And then we can see coming around the corner, and I'm just coming through here now. You can see me flash out, and I just want to show you the start of the race again. So I've slowed this down so you can see Stephen Nichols, who was number 27. He goes right through the middle, and then he starts to maybe not have as much straight line speed there, and he gets overtaken again, and then he hits Wayne Crump, who's number 32. He spins around. Steve Lewison in front of me goes onto the grass, and I kind of undercut him there. And John Pringle goes around the outside, followed by Peter Jarvie. And as we go back to the race, I'm behind Peter Jarvie, number 56, and I'm just trying to get as close as I can to him through this tight section. I'm a little bit closer here, and this corner is really hard. A lot of G-forces around there, especially around the top of the hill. I feel like my whole body's coming out of the seat. And we go down the straight. We can't quite see there. Let's see if I can get a side of him. Just got in there. So he was a bit kind to me there because I wasn't quite close enough. Anyway, at this point I'm just thinking I need to skedaddle as fast as possible so he doesn't get me on the next turn. But I've got a little bit of a gap there, so I should be safe for the next hairpin. There we are, going through. Back to the onboard. And maybe I've got about a second behind these guys in front of me. Just trying to get there as quickly as possible because I've realised that at the start of the race it's a little bit easier to catch. Once everybody spreads out with such a short race, it's really tricky, even though the final is 15 laps. And this is when my my onboard actually stops, so we'll have to make do with the camera on the side of the road here. Okay, and there I am. So I'm in 4th at the moment, and I'm slowly catching 3rd place, I think. I'll just try to figure out who it is on the next shot. Just coming over the top of the hill. It doesn't look that bad from here, but that I think is the hardest turn on the course, just because it's kind of it's like the edge of a spoon and you get flung out the side of the seat. So here we go. Here's first place, which is Alan Roberts. He did a 43.7, so he got the fastest race lap, and I think my best was a 44.2. Still just up behind Stephen Nichols in the number 27. I remember staring at the helmet a lot. He's got a 46 on the back of his helmet, but 27 on the kart, so I was just thinking about Rossi the whole time. And coming through the top straight there, I was trying to get as close as possible on the straight because I knew that probably the most likely place to pass is at the end of that straight down the bottom, but just couldn't get close enough. So it's Alan Roberts leading. There he goes. John Pringle second. and Stephen Nichols third, and then myself fourth, following very tightly behind him. And then, unbeknownst to me, Steve Lewison is coming up behind me. Oh, we lost a bit of footage there, but that's okay. Position's still the same. I'm still right up the back of Steve Nichols, sorry. And really tight through the midfield section. As I said, he keeps going very tight there, so it's very hard to get through, and I'm just trying to keep the power on as much as possible. Go off the accelerator a tad just to go around that final turn. Getting some slipstream from him every lap, but just couldn't get close enough. See, I'm really close out of that turn there. And this is also another opportunity here. I could have put it down the inside there, but I didn't feel I had enough confidence. I was trying to get really tight there and try to get him in the next one. And you can see we're overtaking someone there, but unfortunately it was too narrow an angle to come in. And then in that middle section, I went right off the track, nearly lost control. And then I think at this point I was actually feeling really tired because I'd been putting everything in to try to get as close as possible. And this being my first race back into karting, my fitness is not as good as it should be. So at this point I'm thinking, oh man, give me a break. Let me catch my breath. And I think I start to get caught by Steve Lewison. Yeah, number 64, Steve Lewison's catching me up, so I don't know where he's come from. He must have got stuck at the back somewhere. And you can see he's getting super close to me here. I was really out of breath at this point. I wasn't even aware that he was there. And you can see at the top of the hill, you can't get much closer than that. He's right up my backside. And I remember seeing him out the side of the top of the side of the chassis. And it was all of a sudden, I was expecting to be able to turn in, and then he was there, so I had no choice but to let him go. But that was okay. I was thinking maybe he can cause some mischief up in front of me and I can find a way through. Let's see how he goes. I'm just trying to keep as close to him as possible. I'm doing really well on that corner, I think. I brake really heavy in there and make sure I get the nose in really tight so that I can gain some ground. Through that middle section, you just kind of roll it in and then turn at the right time, get the power on when you can. But here I've lost a bit of ground, I think. I really was a bit out of breath, I guess. But he's really making huge inroads on Stephen Nichols in front. So I don't know what happened to him at the start of the race. He's obviously been like a cork in the bottle and getting out there. And I think up here, this is where he makes his moves. So he gets really close on this flat out right-hander. And then look at that, just sinks it, sends it down the middle. And then has to go really wide to recover the position, but he's made it. And then I've seen that and I'm thinking, why can't I get past this guy and he can do so well? But I think at the end of the day, it's just about confidence. I felt like at the end of the straight, if I braked any later, when I got really close to Stephen in front of me, I felt like if I braked super late to get alongside, I might have spun off. So yeah, just lacking a little bit of confidence there, because I didn't want to end up in the dirt. Anyway, so he's pulling away a fair way, Steve Lewison. And I'm back up behind Stephen Nichols at the moment. It's almost like I've been ignited because of someone coming through. My energy's come back a little bit. I've had a bit of a breather. So now I'm thinking, right, I've got to make an impression because I've only got a few laps left. I'd love to get on the podium, but I think it's going to be pretty difficult from here unless I can get through here really quick. So this is as close as I've been, I think, on the straight. Try to get alongside here. Can't quite see it because of the angle, but I didn't get there. I didn't feel confident enough on the brakes, although if I had sent it, he probably would have gotten out of the way because I would have been out of control, but it was just a little bit too deep. And here, this is another opportunity here, but not close enough. And he's keeping a pretty tight line there, so couldn't quite do it. And out of this corner, I think I'm really good out of that corner there, the hairpin closest to the camera. But it's all flat out through there, and in the tight twisty section, he was keeping a really tight line there. so I couldn't actually duck up the inside, which I've seen someone else do on this particular day. But anyway, coming through the top, flat out through there, and the engine was going pretty well. I could feel myself gaining on him a little bit the more I was in the slipstream. And again, as we come through these little S's here, really tight on the left hand side there with the wheel on the curb, and then getting really close here. And then I could have done it here, I think, but I just didn't quite have the confidence to really get in there. And he's just driving around the outside thinking, well, if I'm not going to have a go, he's not going to bother. And I've lost some ground. So yeah, it's interesting, and it's just 10th by 10th trying to catch him up again. Again, wondering how long it's going to be until the end of the race, because my hips, sorry, not my hips, my ribs are really killing me because I've gone over the curb a few times. I'm wearing a rib brace, but nevertheless, after 15 laps, it's pretty tiring. There we go, right there again. As soon as I go through that S's, I'm right with him again, but just not close enough around this turn here. And he's keeping a nice tight line there, a little bit wider than me, which I think probably slowing him down a little bit. But through here, this is just no chance to get through there unless he goes wide in this spot, which cuts off at. It's not likely I'm going to get through. Anyway, that was the June 27th Masters Restricted Final. Hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll speak to you next time.